Hello, everyone. My name is Vernae, the mortgage expert, NMLS number 2296382.
And I am Camani, aka Camani The Realtor, DRE number 02191564.
I am Ashley, your money mindset coach. I am the magical sister, and I help you get your finances right. I don't even have a number. I'm gonna have to make me up a number.
And together you have come to the Rheal Unwind, where the real ones come to unwind. All three of us are Aries.
Oh, yeah?
Camani, yeah. So, Camani, for you and I to be sisters, I feel like we're completely opposites.
Yeah.
And we're literally 2 years and a day apart.
I think all three of us are different.
Yeah, we're all different people.
I think we're all
thank you.
Yeah, I think we're actually all completely different to all the Aries.
And yeah. Out of the zodiac sign for an Aries, the description that they use to describe one, what would you say best fits me?
Well, let me find the description. What's the characteristics of an Aries? And I'll tell you. I'm going to read this list of what it says that Aries are for our characteristics. You can kind of see. So our positive traits are we're daring, adventurous, independent, dynamic, charismatic. There you go. I can't say that one. Courageous, enthusiastic, optimistic. We're a leader, warm-hearted, confident, and quick-witted. For our negative traits, we are impatient, impulsive, reckless, restless, headstrong, argumentative, very brash, self-involved, intolerant, short-tempered, insensitive.
Yeah. It sounds like me. I feel like all of them was me.
I didn't want to say anything. I was gonna pick one, but
right. Look, I was gonna be modest.
I'm gonna say I'm quick-tempered when it comes to certain things. I can definitely identify that in myself.
You're just gonna go ahead and point out the negative. I'm gonna point out the positive on my end. They ain't got room for negative energy. I feel like the characteristic that I'd say independent, headstrong was definitely one. Strong-minded. Was daring one of them?
Yeah, I would say for me, I think more for me, adventurous, warm-hearted for my positives. I can be very impatient. I can be brash sometimes, depending on what the topic is and what's happening. I'm not the kind of friend who's going to sugarcoat it. Like, I think I tell you, like I just tell you, like either I can lie to you or I can tell you the truth. If you want me to lie to you, I don't want to have this conversation. But if you want the truth, we can do this all day.
So I guess I was the only one that was honest and got my bad one out the way first. Would say that I'm headstrong. I've tried to dial back on being headstrong.
You're definitely a leader.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was actually just gonna say I'm all of those. Like that's a pure definition of Vernae. That's who I am.
Just
right.
Cocky.
Is that one of
them? that's that self-involved.
That's the synonym.
Yeah, I think we balance each other out. It's always good to meet other Aries and really look, especially when you're close in every aspect. You know, relationship, any kind of ship, relationship, sistership, partnership, whatever. But it's always good to see other people's perspective.
How do you, Fern, support your partner since she's successful in her business and everything that she does? How do you support her? What do you use? Words of affirmation? Is it touch? How do you support her?
I support her in many ways. I give her words of encouragement. We sit and brainstorm ideas together on, how to really be impactful. We balance each other out. Yeah, I'd support her 100%. Man, she's actually done many events. And I definitely just try to be supportive any way that I can. How do you feel that I support you?
I think you're very supportive, like encouraging. You are very much my accountability in pushing me to keep going and achieving things, you see what it is that I am trying to achieve. Like, you hear all of that. So when you see me out there really trying and doing and, putting in that effort, like, you make me want to continue to go. When we bought our RV, like, that was my idea, to buy an RV and travel around. And she could have been like, no, like, I don't want to do that. But she was like, okay, let's go. Like, even in the nervousness, even in the like the unsure, even in her not liking to be outside, like, she still was like, okay, so let's give this a try. And we did it for 2 years, because it was something that I wanted to do. Someone to say, like, I'm willing to try if you are, like, that's encouragement right there. I've never been the one to be like, hey, I want gifts. And I've told Vernae that since day one. Like, if you think that buying me stuff is going to get me to love you, then you're going to have to find someone else, because I am not like a gift person. I don't need gifts for you to show me love. I'm more of an action type of person. Acts of love get me, really make me feel love, if that makes sense. So you cooking for me, you cleaning up the house so I don't have to do it, the laundry, like things like that, acts of love, just, I'm okay with you just showing me that you love me. Rub on my booty at night.
Oh, girl, that will put me right to sleep.
And I got a flatty, but rub on it. Make me feel like I got the biggest ass you ever seen.
The world, honey. You 10 minutes in. I'm girl. Oh, yes, that's a good fit. I like that too. I amen to that. That's good. I mean, I've never been the one to 10 out gifts either, but I like just small things. It ain't got to be nothing major. Just invest your time. Show me that you care. Plan a picnic or something intimate. You know what I mean? That costs you $0. But I mean, I like a little gifts too. I ain't gonna lie. But that's good. I mean, everybody has their own love language.
They do.
That booty wrap though. One of them, you ain't got to.
It's the best, right?
You ain't got to just rub. I mean, like, hello.
And I think as a bonus, because we both are women, like, I really listen to her. Like, when Ashley has a dream or a goal, or she's passionate about something, like, I really listen. And like she said, it's not about the gifts or anything. But I remember when we first got together, she told me that she made scented candles. When I tell you, I made sure she had everything she needed to do her waxing, to can it, put in the jars. She had the little samplers, everything, because I'm her number one supporter. And I tell her all the time, what color you want my uniform to be? Because I throw on the skirt and some pom-poms and let you know, hey, give me an A. Hey, you got your A. You got your A.
Get you a
right?
Yeah,
right.
That's really what you need. I ran into that so many times, venturing out trying to mingle and everything, and you get the people that just look at you as competition, and it's like, no, I want you to win just like you want me to win. I'm looking for a partner. I'm not looking for competition. I'm looking for somebody to help me get to where I'm going, so I can help you get to where you're going. This is a collaborative effort to help one another build. So yeah, you want your partner to win. That's what it's all about.
When you've been in other relationships and you don't have people who are willingly able to pour into you, like you just said, Camani, like, you've been around people who don't, or been in a relationship with people who really don't want the best for you, or it's not even that they don't want the best for you, but they don't know how to be. Yeah, it's like a competitive thing.
Yeah,
and that's because a lot of people have been hurt in the past, and a lot of people don't know what it's like to really have someone on your team who, number one, isn't competing with you, and number two, doesn't want something in return. And usually a lot of people, when they do, want to help you, a lot of people aren't genuine. So when you do find people and you find someone who's genuine, sometimes it's like, oh, well, are you like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you? Because you've been so used to getting competitive spirit. Being with Vernae, I've told her, like, I don't have to dumb myself down. And I feel like sometimes in relationships, you have to dumb yourself down because the other person doesn't want you to be as smart or come up with ideas but it's like we're a team. And if I do good, then you do good. It's still a team, and we still have goals that we're trying to reach. Yeah, we want to own land, and we want to own a farm. And like when we first met, we had two different dreams, but together they're the same. Like when we first met,
merge.
yeah, at some point you have to learn and you emerge, and at some point you have to be willing to compromise something. I'm not saying compromise who you are, your morals and your values, but when you're in a relationship, you will have to make compromises, and you will have to understand like you're not perfect, and you do have flaws, and there are some things that you do because you've seen your mama or your daddy do it, and it's like that ain't a good trait, and you got to get rid of that.
Right.
And when you're in a relationship with someone and they're open and you communicate like, hey, I'm just telling you this because it's hurting me and I need you to change it, and they're willing to change it, and you see that effort, then you know that you have someone who has your back and who will help you like progress in this thing called life.
Yeah, that's the thing too, because you open that door up when you first start. Look, this is what I come with. It's this, and this. And you look at now's your chance to run. But you get the people that you come across that's not gonna run. They're gonna help you unpack all that baggage you just walked in the door with. You know what I mean? That's you need that person. Them people that's really willing to stick it out and ride with you no matter what. That's what I'm looking for, girl.
And those people who ran, they actually teach you lessons. Like they teach you lessons on how to treat that person who does stick with you with the baggage. Some people always like want you to change to benefit them. But when they allow you to change and it's organic and like you're able to change and you're able to grow, like that helps you grow together, and it doesn't give resentment on one end. Because it's not like I'm forcing you to do this. I'm letting you know that this is impacting me in a negative way. And then when you have a healthy relationship, that other person is like, I don't want that scar to wound you. It was a 50th anniversary for this couple. And he got up and he said, you have to learn that words sometimes is like getting cut. And you may heal from that cut, but you always have a scar. So you always want to be mindful of the words that you say, because the words that you can say will stick with that person. So pouring in positivity and pouring into me is something that Vernae does. And that gives me the courage to be that successful woman, like to go out there and teach. And like, this didn't happen overnight. We've actually grown together. And she's helped me get to this stage. She gets credit. Yeah, I put in the work. I've done the work too, but her encouragement has helped me get to where, I am today.
You both grow in a relationship. You grow together, but you grow as individuals too. And in a relationship, you have to allow that other person to grow. Like I read this one thing where it said an old couple, they had to be like in their 90s. And he said every time like she grew or she changed, he allowed her that space to become who she was becoming. You know what I mean? And found a way to love her and each individual that she became throughout the process. Because you grow, you mature, you evolve, which is life.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like that goes along with not just age, but also with the season. And when I say season, I'm not speaking in terms of spring, winter, fall. In terms of where they are in their life, have they lost a job? Have they lost someone extremely close to them? Have you seen them in a depressive state? Have you seen them when money's rolling in and things are on the high, and then all of a sudden they get that phone call or, something happens and it just changes their entire world, their entire life. Seeing them grow, through that, and what the end result is, after they've come out of it, like, hey, are you still the same person, or are you a bit wiser? What did you learn from this? And what can you teach me? Because we're going through this together. No one goes through any situation alone. It's kind of like, can you hold my hand while I try to figure things out? And if you can do that and still support them, whether it's a death in the family, a job loss, or whatever it may be, an illness, because anything can change your life in the blink of an eye, that's when you really discover who that person is and who they're destined to be. And do you want to grow with that person as they become who they're, I guess, destined to be?
I agree. Because I'm taking it by the horns. Like, okay, you got this in this situation, an illness, and you only got such and such days to live. Well, we need to start living. Let's go. Like, let's pack our stuff. Let's go. We got a whole bunch of world to see in 3 days. Like, that's me. That's me. Like, nah, we're not about to sit around and die for 3 days. You doing that already. So let's live, you know?
And even then, because like some people don't know, I feel like when people get an illness and they learn about it, there's still time. Whereas there's a lot of people that didn't even get a warning, you know, or an opportunity to make any changes. They just woke up and thought, you know, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow, and tomorrow didn't come for them.
Yeah, that's why you live every day. I ain't gonna say like it's your last, because you know rent's always coming.
Right.
But,
you said rent.
The first is always on its way.
Mortgages
around the corner.
Always do.
Yeah, Bobby, don't live every day like it's your last per se, but do like go after the things that you want to go after. You know what I mean? Like just live. I come across so many people like that are young, and I'm like, y'all not living. Like y'all not. I get you want this career and you want to better yourself, but remember to live in the meantime too, because tomorrow is not promised to nobody. Like that's my thing. Like you work hard, yeah, but play hard too.
Yeah, that's some of the reason why we also got that RV, is because when you do have like that illness, like you would say, 3 days, it's not 3 days, but like when you do have the illness and you start to see like there are some different kind of effects that are happening, like you want to get out there and you want to see some stuff before you can't, before you know it's not an option. So you want to get out and you want to make sure that if in 10 years there was something wrong with one of our legs, or if, you know, I was in a wheelchair or I couldn't do certain things, like we're not now in our 50s, like, oh man, we should have done this when we still had the chance. No, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to live this life that we have until the wheels fall off. You know, they say you die with all your shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and that's not what I wanted to do. So I wanted to get out and I wanted to live. And it was the best experience because it not only helped me see that there was life, but it also gave Vernae and our son like an experience like of a lifetime. Like we did 27 states in 100 days. And so we were able to see things that, you know, a lot of us will never see. And we're right here in America. We were able to see some stuff, but it was also because we don't know the future. We don't know
people that have never left their zip code.
It's a lot of people who have never left their zip code.
There's people I know younger than me dropping like flies, and I'm just like, what? I don't want to be that person, so I do try to take care of myself. As far as working out, eating right when I can, but I try to maximize life. Like I don't want to waste life for nothing. Even on my last days, like I'm gonna be sitting on the bed with nothing but good memories. You know what I mean? With good memories that I've made with the people that I love the most. You know what I mean? And my little couple of days left, I'm be sitting on the bed like, man, you remember when we did this or when we did that? Like that's how I want to go out. I don't want to be like, man, I should have. Because I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and the most important thing that you like in life, and I say this all the time, is that dash. That's what matters the most on that headstone, is the day you were born, the day you passed away. But that dash that's in the middle, that's your whole life. That's everything that you've done. That's all the people that you've inspired, all the lives that you've touched. That's all the love that you have. Like that dash is the most significant thing on that headstone. So you want to make sure that while you have it while you're in that dash, that you do everything that you want to do, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody else is going to get you to that point unless you do it. So you have to make that dash worth it. Like, I want people at my funeral to be like, girl, you remember?
Like, that's what I just told my friend the other day. He told me, I said, we got to live life like, every day is our last.
When Ashley was actually diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I didn't allow her to be down about it. We had already prepped to go on a trip. We just didn't know when we were going to go. I told her grab her passport, pack a bag, and we drove up to Maine from Philadelphia. When we got to Maine, we got some lobster, because we literally drove up to Maine just for lobster. When we got to Maine, and she was still feeling kind of down. Like, she literally had just got this news that same. I was like, we're not going out like that. So I said, you want to keep going? She goes up from Maine, and we continued north and found our way into Canada. And this was all spur of the moment. We literally just drove up there. We saw Bigfoot, everything. It was a Bigfoot footprints. But we stayed up there. How long did we stay up there? Like a couple of days, right?
Yeah, we were there for
4 days.
So the spur of the moment where you don't plan nothing. It's like, come on, let's go. And you just out there winging it. That's really living life, though.
Let me tell you how bad
we
it
almost
was.
slept in the car.
Right? That's how
that's an experience. That's gonna be a memory for them, and especially when it get cold.
So not only did we almost have to sleep in the car, but when we got to Canada, because we weren't expecting to be in Canada, we hadn't bought any Canadian minutes or transfer anything over so we could make phone calls in Canada. So we had to stop at the McDonald's as soon as we crossed over the border to like sit there and get ourselves together. It is pitch black. It is night. These signs are in French. I don't understand shit. She's trying to brush up on her French. So we had to really like sit there and figure it out. And like, we're calling people at these hotels and everybody's like, no, we don't have any availability. So we finally find one, and she was like it was midnight, and we're trying to check in, and she was like, oh, well, you have to wait until the next day. It is the next day, ma'am.
12:01.
The next day. So we finally found something where we could stay. But that was one of the best trips, one of the best trips that we've had, because it was spur of the moment, and it meant like, it was impactful. Like, it meant something for me to be going through something life-changing, and then have someone who, number one, we were still newly dating. And that's the thing, like, people don't know, like, me and Vernae started dating in August of 2017. And in November of 2017, I fainted and hit my head on the bathroom sink, and we didn't know what was wrong with me. So from then until I finally got a diagnosis, like, she stuck there, like, she stuck around with me. Like, my family found out about her because of this, like, and it was just like, we were newly in a relationship, like, because we were new in a relationship. So it was like, you're not about to meet all my family like right now. Like, no, we're not doing that. But because of this, like, we had to move a little faster. Yeah, we had to move faster. And I gave her many a times, like, I was in the hospital and I was like, listen, you do not have to stay with me. Like, you don't have to be here. You don't have to do this. Like, because this is a lot. Like, this is a lot asking you, like, you're driving from Philly to Delaware to like almost every day to make sure that I'm okay. And I'm like, this is a lot. And you don't have to continue to do this. And seeing her keep doing it, like, I'm like, all right, well, we're going to ride till the wheels fall off of this thing. And there were times where, you're depressed and you're down, because you don't know. I remember there was a time where, like, I literally had to plan out, like, if something was to happen to me, like, what would happen to my son. And like, that's depressing as a parent, especially being young and having to think about, like, what would you do if I wasn't here anymore? Like, that makes you kind of have to look at life, and it's scary, and it makes you move and operate in life a little bit differently, because you see, you live in fear, but you also live with the unknown. Like, you live with this unknown. But if you're always fearful, then like you don't you don't progress. Like if I lived in fear, like I would have never gotten to the point where I am now if I just was like, oh, woe is me. I just let this disease or this illness just take over me. Like I could have been going, because a lot of people do that. Because they let this thing like just, it's an impact, and it's just this, they can't deal with it. And so it's hard, but it's something that you do have to, as you grow with someone, you have to go with the changes and the new things that come up, because the older we get, the more your back hurt, your knees hurt, you don't feel like getting up out the bed in the morning, stuff cracking because it's cold. Like things are changing. So to find someone to grow with, I think that's special.
You need that partner that's going to push you. Like you said, on those days where you're down and depressed, you need someone to say, hey, come on, get out of bed. This is not the end. We're going to do this. We're going to get up and we're going to go. You need that. That's love right there.
Do you feel that love equals success? Falling in love, finding a partner, or
anybody can fall in love. That don't mean you with the right person. That don't mean it's a successful relationship. You could be in love with a toxic mud sucker. You know what I mean? That don't make it right. That don't make it successful. So yeah, that's my opinion on that.
I don't believe that love equals success.
Success,
I feel
I
like,
don't either.
yeah, I don't
love
think
can
that
be a lesson.
Yeah. Or a blessing.
Yes, honey.
Yeah. Because I feel like love, sometimes people put conditions on love. Like somebody will be like, well, if you love me, you wouldn't never leave me, but you hurting me. So you can't tell me that, that isn't love, because I do love you, but I also love me more. So I think that self-love is success. So not love
like
for
that.
other people, but I feel like self-love, having self-love, self-worth is success, because when you have those things for yourself, then you can say that you have love in a relationship. And that's one of the most important relationships that you have to have love love for is that
Absolutely.
love for yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is too, until you really people are working on loving themselves every day, but you can't give love to somebody that you can't give to yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. So before you even think about getting in a relationship, you need to work on you first. Make sure you not, you know what I mean? It's broken people out there trying to love, and it's just tarnishing the whole dating pool. Like, no, sit your house at home and heal, please. Don't come over here with none of that.
So how would you define a successful relationship?
I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. Everybody has their own opinion on what success is to them. To me, a successful relationship with a man would be having that relationship with God. Like, I want to be with a God-fearing man. And shoot, I feel like success will come thereafter. Like if we both living right, doing what we're supposed to do, uplifting one another, empowering and supporting one another, and loving each other, and putting God and our kids first, then we can do no wrong. Success to me, it ain't gotta be in no big old house with no 3 and 4 cars. It would be nice, but however, as long as I got a man that's with me, support me, love me, loyal to me, there for me, then I'm successful in my own way.
What does a successful relationship look like for you?
Successful relationship to me, it looks like understanding, compassion, first and foremost, communication. And self-awareness, emotional intelligence. I want you to be able to talk to me, and I also want you to understand your emotions, so that when we are communicating, there's not, there's going to be a transference of energy regardless. But I want you to be able to understand what you're going through, what our relationship, what our relationship is going through, and where it stands, and how we can conquer this together and grow together. Is this situation bigger than us? If it is, do we give it to God, or do we abide by our core values and work from there? When there's self-awareness, people don't always know who they are. But if you know who you want to be, then we can start there and move forward together. And that goes for me as well. A lot of times we say we know who we are, we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, but we really don't. We're 16-year-olds trapped in adult bodies trying to figure it out. But when you have someone that's willing to help you understand the world, help you understand life, help you grow into the person that you want to be, I feel like that's success.
That's what a relationship is also about, is about having a helpmate, like somebody who is there to help you in all aspects. I'm not just talking about like around the house. I'm talking about like help you become your best person. Like this is that person that helps you with everything, whatever that may be. This is that person who helps you with achieving your goals, with becoming the person that you want to be helping you with your children, like making sure that your children have two equally loving parents, and not just you see one person working their ass off while the other one is just chilling, or like seeing this, having that helpmate, that builds a relationship too. I feel like when you have someone who you can depend on, and that's what you want. You want somebody who you can depend on, because if you can't depend on somebody, then what are we doing? Like when you feel like, what you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said this ain't gonna work. If I can't
Yeah,
rely
it's
on
not.
you, if you
Yeah,
can't do what you said you was gonna do, this ain't gonna
yeah,
work.
yeah. And sometimes it's understandable. Like you sometimes might bite in, and you might like bite off too much, and but that's when you come to me and be like, "Hey, babe, like I bit off too much that I couldn't handle, and I'm gonna need you to help me." But that's where that open communication comes in, is like to let me know when you need help, and don't expect me to read your mind. That's something that's very important, is because a lot of us live in our minds so much. Is like I need to know, like, if there's something that I'm doing, something that I'm not doing, because this only helps us grow together in our relationship. So that's important, to have somebody who's willing to not just be there, but also who's willing to help you become that better person, help you become a better parent, help you become a better woman or a better man or whatever, like help you with achieving the things that you want to achieve in life.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And not only that, I think a lot of people don't look at their relationship, like obviously there's love, but I think where we sometimes fail is a lot of people don't look at the business opportunity of the relationship also. Like if you're only looking at it from a love perspective, then you're missing out on a whole lot, because when you go into this, you guys have to have a home. Both of you should be bringing in income. If you're not, then now you have to define what the roles are in your relationship. Mm-hmm. That's a business move. Mm-hmm. Where's this money coming from? How are we managing our books? What's the profit and loss on this? Where do we want to be 5 to 10 years from now? Will we still be working? Who's supporting who? Is this passive income that we're using? Are there children involved? Because that's another dynamic. You have to pay for children. you have to invest in them. You have to nurture them. You have to help them grow. And then not only that, you have to do that for the relationship also. Keep the spark there. Keep it spunky. Keep it lively.
That's
right?
Open communication though, too. You have to come to me and tell me what I'm doing wrong and what it is that you want me to do to fix it. Because I could feel like I was showing you love, but my way of showing you love is not how you receive it. So teach me what you perceive as love, so I can show that to you. I don't want to just love you the way that I think you should be loved. Like, no, I want to get this right.
Yeah. I love that. Teach me.
Yeah, music said it best. Teach me how to love. Show me the way. Like, you teach me how to love. You show me what you want, so that I know that I gave what I needed to do to make you happy. Like, and to not to make you happy, to help you be happy. Vernae told me that in one of our disagreements, like, I don't depend on you to make me happy. And like it take you
That's
aback,
right.
like, well, forget you. Like, but it makes sense. Like if she isn't happy with herself, then there's nothing that I can do.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, it's nothing
Right.
I can do to make you happy. So that is the first thing, is you have, like you said, that's self-love, that's self-worth. Like you have to have that first before you can expect anyone else to give it to you, or you can expect to give it to anyone else.
Can't pour from an empty cup, girl.
Yeah, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Yeah. And if you don't have somebody who's willing to pour into you, to listen to what is hurting you, um, constructive criticism, like that's something that we all have to work on, is like hearing that what you're doing, I don't like it. Like, and sometimes it takes a while for that to build up, because the first time it happens, it's just, oh, it's a one-off. For the second time, it's like, okay, well, it's agitating me. But if you keep hearing like the same things, and it may not even be, excuse me, from this partner, you may have heard something from this partner one time, but then a previous partner, you heard them and they said the same thing. And you're like, well, damn, wait a minute. I'm hearing this from two different people. Maybe it is something that I need to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you with the right people. Now, sometimes people can give you
Yeah,
some
that's
advice.
what we was
Like,
just talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, like, hold on. Is this gonna benefit you or me?
right? Yeah. But that's when that comes in, when you just gotta think, like, sometimes we're so willing to ignore the red flags because you just want love so much, that you see that this person is toxic. Like you see that this person isn't what they say or what you want. When you have somebody to go home to, you can't still have that single mentality. And
Right.
that's what
That's
a
right.
lot of people have, is they're in relationships with people and they still want to have that single mentality, like me, I. And no, now we have to go to a we. And we
Right.
have to now start to be we have to be a united front. And sometimes it may be me shutting up when I want to say something, and sometimes it may be her shutting up when she want to say something. But like, I'm not saying this because I understand, like, I'm saying it because I want to hurt you, or I'm saying it because, at that moment, like, as Aries, like, we are quick with it. Like, we could come back with it, like, real fast. Like, you hit
Real
me,
fast.
I'm gonna hit you back. Like, listen, like, but
And I'm a gut punch.
yeah, like, I'm gonna,
But,
like, you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna hurt yours. But
yeah, but in
when
in a relationship
you
though, you
can't do
can't do
that.
that. When you
Yeah.
really care about that person, not to say that you sugaring anything, or you like, I'm blunt. I'm blunt in that. I mean, that could be a curse and a blessing. But you really think about how the words that you're choosing to let leave your mouth is gonna affect that other person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, girl, I'm learning.
Don't think. Sometimes it's just a reaction. Like, and so for us, I think when we have disagreements, like we we tend to take a step back, and sometimes it'll take us an hour or two, and then we come back to each other and like, hey, you know what? I thought about what I said, or I thought about how I was acting in that moment, and you're right. I definitely overreacted. So
You
this
said
is
an
my
hour.
apology.
Me too. I've
You
been
said
trying.
an hour.
Yeah, I said an hour or two.
Or a
Yeah,
day. Sometimes it takes us
yeah.
a day to get
You
over
gotta
it.
get over. You gotta learn to get over stuff quick. And that's me and you both. Cause it could be, the thing could happen 2 days ago, and I'm still walking through the hall like, don't touch me.
Right.
And that's not a good thing to do. Like you said, life is too short. You gotta learn to get over
Be
that.
rubbing on your booty tonight, huh?
All right, I was gonna say no booty rubbing tonight.
No, like, don't touch me. Don't cross this line. Sleep up there, please. Like, but nah, you got to get over that quick. You really do. And that's the thing that I'm learning too, is patience. Like I told you, patience. And like you said, as Aries, we are quick, and it's learning to really slow it down and think about the words that's coming out of your mouth and how it might affect that other person. Because sometimes we say things out of anger that we really don't mean. But once the words leave your mouth, that's it. Words hurt harder than anything.
Yes,
So
they
be
do.
careful, because when you say them words, there's no going back.
That's right.
I think that as adults, we have to learn, like, sometimes it's okay to take a moment. Sometimes it's okay to be like, hey, so right now we in a heated discussion. This is getting to a point where I don't want us to say something that's going to hurt the other person, that's going to hurt our relationship. So let's table this right now. You go take your space and your moment to get yourself together. I'll take mine. And then we can both come back to this when we thought it through, when we had some time, to cool down. Because as Aries, we are like, we're the fire, like we're a fire sign.
Yeah.
And like when something happens and it's there, like we are there and we calm down really quickly. Like when we once we pop, once we come down, like we fizz and we're open. But if you trying to talk to us and I am exploding and the lava is steaming, like you're not going to get through to me. And I'm going
I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, you don't want to be that
person. I'm like, I don't know if I gotta if I didn't pray myself out of a situation, there's no way I'm going back. I don't want to be that person. I'm not gonna allow you to bring that person out of me. So if you're continuously doing that, this isn't gonna work because I'm not growing with you. You've taken me 10 steps back and I can't do that.
Yeah. And that's important for you to also be able to look at that and see what you do and what you don't want out of relationship. Even if walking away, it hurts, know that like, I don't want to be that person where we just taking jabs at each other, because that's straining, like that's stress. Black women dying fast from heart issues and stress because we stressing out. Like, hell nah. Like I ain't about to stress and have a brain aneurysm or none of that because we can't communicate. No.
And I'm trying to do better too, because I get upset and be like, I don't care. And I really care. Like I need to take that out of my vocabulary. Because I be like, I don't care. And I be like, you know what? Look, I care. I don't know why I said I didn't. I care. But right now I'm mad about everything. I need some time. And like you said, it's okay to say that. It's okay. It's hard to find the words though when it's the heat of the moment.
Yeah, it's hard, but once you find somebody like who like this didn't just happen. Like us being able to have the conversations to be like, all right, now listen, we're gonna need to take a moment because we've walked out, we've slammed doors, we've had those moments. But once we've had them, now that we're growing with each other, we're able to communicate these things. When you're first in a relationship, like you're going to have these things because you're two different people coming from two different worlds, two different backgrounds, two different upbringings. So, you react to things differently. But once you start to get to know someone, you have to change your reaction to something that is more beneficial to us.
I think that concludes our session for today. I think this was a really good conversation.
I think it was too. I think it went well.
If there are any topics that you all would like us to go over, to speak about, to address, please let us know. You can hit us in the comments below, or you can follow up on our email address, info@rhealurban.com. We'll list that for you below. Or if you just want to work with one of us, me, Vernae, the mortgage expert, NMLS number 2296382.
Camani The Realtor. You can get in contact with me through social media. I'll post my number, my information. So you'll be able to contact me, reach out, let me know if you want to utilize my services or you just need someone to listen.
So my name is Ashley J. I am the magical sister, and you can reach me on all social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Rheal Urban. There we talk about all things finance and how to build a healthy relationship with your money, and discussing money with the people that you love the most. I'll put my information down below also. But we want to say thank you for joining us today. This really was a good conversation. Love is important. Love is something that we all need to grow. Love is something that we all need to give us the things that, we feel like we want to achieve. We do a lot of things out of love. But love is very, very powerful. And we can either use it to tear us down or we can use it to tear us up. Or build us up, sorry, not tear us up, build us up. but it's all about how we look at love and, you know, what are we willing to do to have not just love, but self-love too.
I couldn't have said it any better.
All right. So again, if you enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give us a like, a little thumbs up.
Like,
and
share, repost,
and comment. And again, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time.
peace, love, and soul.
So
We'll meet you back here next week with a real